Today, we bid farewell to Professor Marian Ewurama Addy, our first quiz mistress on the National Science and Maths Quiz, then known as Brilliant Science and Maths Quiz. As we bid farewell to Marian, today's program of the National Science and Maths Quiz is dedicated to her. This is Prime Time's tribute to Marian. When we started the program and we approached her to be the quiz mistress, the first thing she said in her usual light-hearted manner was, "Why me? Why Marian?" We chose Marian because we wanted her to be a role model to our students, especially the girl students, our young ladies in the secondary schools. We wanted them to know that science and mathematics were not subjects for just boys alone, and that girls could read science to the highest level. And sure enough, she did play that role and made science and mathematics come alive for school children. Today we honor her memory. Today we want to bring back memories of Marian as we bid farewell to her.
I am an adaptation which enables some plants to propagate asexually. I'm short and swollen with food. I'm normally covered and protected by scaly leaves. I do not grow. Adam.
Bulbs. Onion.
Bulbs? No. No, it's not bulbs. I do not grow horizontally. My death marks the birth of my offspring, which comes to lie buried on top of my dead body. If you want to find out how I look, dig out a cocoyam. Who am I? Yes, Mike.
The comb.
A comb. Our second riddle. I am a chemical principle formulated by a Frenchman who lived between 1850 and 1936. I may be regarded as a restatement of the law of conservation of matter, although most scholars associate me with equilibrium processes only. Kubiti.
Le Chatelier's principle.
Le Chatelier's. A third riddle. I am a process in mathematics, much associated with functions. I literally mean sorting out. I am involved in finding gradients of tangents.
Differentiation.
I have to call you first. Yes, Hamza.
Differentiation.
Yes, differentiation. Now to our last riddle. I am a specialized cell with another specialized cell as a close neighbor. My close neighbor is named after a geometric figure, but I am named after my shape. So you will get my name if you can remember my shape. I am colorblind, and to me everything appears black and white. I work best in dim light. I have a light-sensitive chemical called visual... Yes, Adam?
Cones.
No. No. I work best in dim light. I have a light-sensitive chemical called visual purple. Let me help you get my name by telling you about microorganisms. I have the same shape as Bacillus bacteria. Who am I? Yes, Mike.
The rod. The rod in the eye.
The rod. I thought you said rush. The rod. Yes. Fellow viewers, welcome to the Brilliant Science and Maths Quiz program. This is our 7th in the preliminary series, but it is the first appearance of one of the schools competing in today's contest. This is Ghana National Secondary School from Cape Coast, and they will be going against Mauli School from the Volta region, more or less a veteran in these contests. It is difficult to determine how the contest will go, but we'll find out within an hour. The two schools competing today are Ghana National and Mauli School. Ghana National is to my right and represented by
Matilda Befi, SS3.
Jerry Jibrinya, SS3.
Afedua, SS3.
Mauli School is to my left and represented by
Asu Daniel, SS3.
Abiu Hilarius, SS3. Peter Menu, SS3.
Now that we know who the contestants are, let's find out the rules. As usual, we will have 5 rounds of competition during which the contestants will answer questions from biology, chemistry, physics, and mathematics. The question is to the school, so any of the 3 contestants can answer the question. At the beginning of each round, the rules for that particular round will also be announced. Here we go. I'll start with Ghana National. Ghana National, change the following to a decimal. 126.75%. Matilda.
1.2575.
Yes, Jerry.
1.27.
Yes.
1.2675.
Yes. Just move the decimal place. You just keep the same numbers. Mauli. Again, change the following to a decimal. 7.396%. Hilarious.
0.07396.
Yes. Ghana National. An element has the Latin name natrium. What is its English name? Alfred.
Sodium.
Sodium. Mauli. The Latin name of an element is kalium. What is its English name? Daniel.
Potassium.
Potassium. Ghana National. Which of the following is not one of the fundamental quantities in physics? A. Time. B. Length. C. Weight. D. Mass. Matilda.
Weight.
Weight. Mauli. Which of these particles has the smallest mass? An electron, an atom, a proton, and a neutron. Daniel.
An electron.
An electron.
Hello, and greetings from Abuja, Nigeria. My name is Philip Osafokwako, and I was a contestant on the Brilliant National Science and Maths Quiz in its early years. It was with great sadness that I learned about the passing of Professor Ewurama Addy. The news of her passing was indeed a shock and a very sad day for me. My own recollections of Prof started nearly 20 years ago in 1993, when I was nominated as one of the contestants to the quiz program for Achimota School. I was 15 years old, and so you can imagine I was always nervous on the program. But Prof made the programs very lively and was patient with us to ensure that we answered the questions properly. I had a lot of fun on these programs, especially as we were winning. She worked hard to make the sciences popular to young students of our generation, and many of us always look back to the quiz program with fond memories. But outside the quiz program, I was also privileged to learn a lot from her. I visited her both at home and also at her office on the Legon campus, and she was always welcoming and willing to share her ideas freely with me. When I got admission to study at MIT in the US as an undergraduate, she was very proud. And as any mother would say, she reminded me to show the Americans that we Ghanaians are also good. As an undergraduate, I collaborated with her on one of my research projects on herbal medicines. Her thinking was always clear and rigorous. She had high standards and also an impatience with me when she felt I was not being as thorough as she demanded. For me, Prof's passing provides a moment of reflection, a time for us all to think about how we can uphold these high education standards which she stood for. All across our nation today, there are many young girls and boys who will emerge to continue the work which Prof has begun. On my part, with my family and several friends and contestants of the Science and Maths Quiz Show, we will commit to establishing a scholarship fund in her memory. We will work to use this to support young girls across our country who are coming from low-income households and who have shown great promise in studying science in secondary schools. From Accra to Bolgatanga, from South Pond to Keta, our nation is endowed with many very talented young people. We must commit to nurturing this talent and to ensure that they realize their full potential as Prof would have wished, whether in the sciences, in the arts, in business, or whatever pursuits they actually undertake. This will probably be our most enduring tribute to our mother and teacher. May she rest in peace.
I am a transformation in the plane, and I'm closely associated with lines or points. In the x-axis, I turn objects upside down. Under me, figures undergo no magnification. Patrick.
Reflection.
Reflection. I am a polygon with 4 sides. Equality means something to me, but I do not go all the way with this property as some of my colleagues do. Jojo.
A rhombus.
No. Okay, that's a good guess. It's just unfortunate. My diagonals can cross, and when they do, right describes the angle that are formed. I am a bird of prey. Unlike my other relatives with 4 sides, I can fly and be flown. So who am I? Yes, Tete.
Kite.
Kite. Our third riddle. I am a network of vessels. I occur not only in vertebrates, but also in insects and even in plants. In the 2 latter cases, I may be regarded as a rib. Whereas in vertebrates, I can be found throughout the body. In insects, I'm confined to the wings, whilst in plants, I'm limited to the leaves. I have varied functions. For example, my main job in insects is to give strength to the wings. Tete. Veins. To our last riddle. My currency is the electron. My name is closely associated with an element that is very abundant on this planet. Without that element, I doubt whether there will be any form of life on Earth. The difficulty with me is that I have a twin whose habits are exactly opposite to mine. But somehow, not only do we tolerate each other, we need each other to survive. In my process, electrons or hydrogens are taken away as oxygen or oxygen. Patrick. Oxygen. Not oxygen. James.
Oxidation.
Oxidation. So viewers, welcome once again to another in the preliminary series of the 1997 Brilliant Science and Math Quiz program. And one of the schools competing is 1995 national champions and 1996 runners-up, Presec Boys Secondary School. They are here, of course, to ensure that they take the championship trophy again this year. Competing with them is Sunyani Secondary School. Sunyani has a job to do because they are the only school from the Brown Ahafo region, and they wouldn't want to go out in this first preliminary contest. And so they are here to give Presec, should I say, a run for their money, but we'll find out how the contest goes. Sunyani Secondary. This is an interesting one. To tell you the truth, I didn't know the answer until we had to work this one out. One major headache of a housewife when preparing palm soup is the nuisance caused by the soup spilling over when it is boiling. She has to keep a constant watch and stir the soup to prevent it from spilling. Why does palm nut soup have this peculiar property? I mean, the groundnut soup will do it too, but it's notorious with palm nut soup. Scientifically, now don't tell me what your mother or your aunt does. Presec. Yes, Dankwa.
It's very dense. So as it's boiling, the pressure or the bubbles forming underneath in the soup tend to spread it out.
I think I'll give him the bonus. Because he's trying to think. It's not that he got exactly the correct, but he's trying to think and using the pressure inside and so on. That's why I just gave him a bonus of 1. But I'm assuming what he says dense. The oily skin the oily film is more or less a skin. And so with the boiling, the gas, the water boiling, the steam tries to break up through that skin. And so that's what is that force which spreads all, around. So when you pour a little bit of water on it, you just break that film. So, I mean, he tried, so I just gave him 1. Now, Presec, simply washing with water does not remove oil and other dead particles from our bodies or clothes and utensils. How does soap help remove these? Tete.
Okay, the hydrocarbon end of soap is hydrophobic. So when it attracts the oil particles in whatever you want to wash, it forms a micelle. So when the washing this thing breaks down the micelle, and then the dirt which is attached to the fat is removed.
That's good enough. Sunyani Secondary. Chemically, what is the scum formed when one tries to form lather with soap in hard water? Chemically, what is the scum? Frank.
Calcium heptadecanoate.
Okay, I'll give you 1 out of 3. 1 out of 3. And this is because it is both the magnesium, calcium, and iron salt of any fatty acid. So he just picked one salt of a fatty acid, and I'm not so sure he gets all of it. So that's why I gave him 1 out of 3. Presec. In places where water is hard, water softeners are added to the washing, and when this is done, no scum is formed. What happens to the magnesium, calcium, and ions that are present? Because if they are present, they should form a scum. What happens to them? Yes, Dankwa.
The water softener reacts with the magnesium, calcium, and ions present to form an unreactive complex. So
what do you mean unreactive? Tete, you want to help?
The softener precipitates the calcium and magnesium and iron salts present in the hard water.
No. Sunyani Secondary for a bonus. Yes, Daniel.
It reacts with the substance to form bicarbonate ions of the of the other compound, which is soluble?
Well, the compound form is soluble. That's why there's no scum. But okay, I'll give you a bonus. Okay. See, the ions are there, so the softener just makes them soluble. It doesn't precipitate them out. It makes them soluble. So I'll give you a bonus.
Eureka Emafa Ahaji Atumaku, Department of Botany, University of Ghana. I took over from Professor Marian Ewurama as quizmistress in 2001. The news of Auntie Marie's death came to me as a terrible shock, and it's still very hard to grasp, I should say. The more I think about her role, or the role she played in my life, the more convinced I am that words are inadequate tribute to this great mentor. I'm a living testimony to all that Auntie Marie believed in and stood for, empowering the girl child. Who would have thought that in a society that believes that a child should be seen but not heard, a professor of Auntie Marie's caliber would choose her student to succeed her as hostess of a nationally televised science and maths quiz. But that is exactly what she did. And she didn't just ask me to take over and leave me to figure it out. She took me by the hand and made sure that she fully supported me, thus ensuring a smooth transition. I remember the day she asked me to come over to Presec school to observe a live recording. That was her way of getting me to see for myself what the whole thing was about, and for her to keep telling me that, you see, it's not difficult on you, you can do it. So, well, I went over to Presec and I watched a few of the contests, and she had to go on break at some point. And I thought I should just go and I'll wait, But she insisted that I come and have lunch with her and the late Professor Awodri. And I did. On hindsight, I realized Auntie Marie's concern was not that I would be hungry and needed to be fed. Her concern was to ensure that she had initiated a good working relationship between the late Professor Awodri and myself, because he was then the chief consultant and I was to work hand in hand with him if I was going to take over from her. That was how visionary Auntie Marie was. In the past few weeks since her passing, I have been forced to ponder the question of why she chose me. Why me? Just to summarize, I realized that it wasn't because she had run out of options. What I realized was that Auntie Marie was making a statement. Auntie Marie was saying that we need to believe in the potential of the younger generation and support them fully to grow up into taking the baton from the older generation. And now that she's gone, again I realize the enormity of the gap that she so ably filled, which is now facing all female scientists in this nation. We have a huge, huge gap to fill. The nation and academia have lost a great asset. We definitely need to rise up to the occasion, rise up to the task that she has left us. So I believe that our most fitting tribute will be to encourage more female students to take up careers in science, maths, and technology. That was her dream. That was her vision. And we cannot afford to let it die. Farewell, Auntie Marie. Farewell, Professor Extraordinaire. May the Lord grant you eternal rest. Rest in peace.
Faster. Stronger. Brighter. Empower yourself with Vitamilk, a delicious and healthy soy milk. Vitamilk, now available in UHT pack.
Vitamilk, happy milk for everyone.
Mfantsipim is on my right and represented by
Hubert Asio, SS3.
Ruben Ingisa, SS3.
Alex Tildazi, SS3.
Presec is to my left and represented by
Alex Jan, SS3. Papa Kofiano, SS3.
Edem Japasu, SS3.
Viewers, we have come to round 5 with the scores tied. The first part of round 5 deals with riddles. The schools are really competing now. The first one to come up with the solution to the riddle. Now, because they are both competing, they draw my attention when they are ready for a solution by ringing a bell. The bell from Mfantsipim sounds like this. From Presec, here's the sound of the bell. So they ring the bell, draw my attention. I call them to give me a solution to the riddle. If their answer is correct, then the school gets 3 points. But if the answer is not correct, then for that particular riddle, that school is out of the contest. They have to wait for the next riddle. And hopefully the other school will wait for more clues to try and get the correct solution. So good luck to both of you. Here we go with the first riddle. I am a scientific unit. I was named after a man who lived between 1775 and 1836. This, my namesake, had the same initial as the famous, or should I say infamous, Accra Metropolitan Assembly. If maintained in 2 straight parallel
Ampere.
Now to our second riddle. I am a subdivision of mammals. My young ones are usually produced singly and undergo a long period of growth and development to adult forms. My teeth are not highly modified. The possession of thumbs and big toes that are opposable, that is able to face and touch the other digits, is unique to me. My brain, especially the cerebrum, is relatively larger than that of other mammals. Alex.
Primates.
Yeah, primates. For our third riddle, I am a chemical process involved in the breaking up of carbon-carbon sigma bonds. I break down long, straight carbon chains to give branched... Alan.
Cracking.
Our last riddle. I am the mother of all arguments. Mathematicians and philosophers will long have been out of business without me. I am the science of proof, establishing the validity of statement or theorem. I am the power in reasoning and the method of argument. Who am I? Who rang the bell? Hubert.
Logic.
Well, hello, viewers. A warm welcome to the final showdown. And what a showdown we should expect because of the 2 schools which made it to the finals, Prempeh College and Opoku Ware. As you may know, rivals in the same city. Prempeh College prides themselves as the 2-time winners in 3 years. So of course they want to extend it so that they declare themselves more or less champions. Opoko-Ware says no such luck, especially since we've beaten you once. So both schools are really very determined, and that is why we expect a lively contested match. This beautiful trophy will go to one of the schools. Prempeh College is to my right and represented by
Alex Sobote, SS3.
Kwasi Isi Entry, SS3. SS3.
Opoku-Ware is to my left and represented by
Oseajimai, SS3.
Amamu Joseph, SS3.
Otin, SS3.
And we are all set, and here are the rules for this competition. The two schools are competing by answering questions in biology, chemistry, physics, and mathematics. The question is to the school, and any of the contestants from that school can answer the question. Usually they have any number of attempts at answering until I say otherwise, and as long as it's within the time period. So we start with round 1, and here are the rules. Most of the questions in round 1 do not involve calculations, and the contestants have 15 seconds within which to give an answer. Good luck to both schools. I'll start with Prempeh College on my right. Prempeh, what are the names of the 3 types of neurons that make up a typical reflex arc? And since we are in the finals, we are not giving too many chances. One attempt, Alex. Oh, sorry, is your hand up? Yes, Alex.
Motor neuron, relay neuron, and sensory neuron.
Yes. What is the function of the myelin sheath that covers the axon or the neuron? Richard.
For the transmission of impulses, and also it insulates the axon.
That's better. Prempeh College, 2 ions, A+ and B+, have different radii. A+ is bigger than B+. Which ion is likely to have a higher enthalpy of hydration? Kwesi.
B+.
B+. What is the difference between hydration and hydrolysis? Joseph.
In hydration, an ion is surrounded by a watershed, but in hydrolysis, the ion reacts with water molecules to produce either acidic or...
one is a reaction. Solve the equation. The square root of 3x plus 1 equals 7. Douglas.
16.
Yes, excellent. Solve the equation. The square root of 3x over 2 plus 1 equals 2. Oseajimai.
X equals 2.
X is 2. Prempeh College, what will you observe if a dilute silver nitrate solution is added to a solution containing only iodide ions? Kwesi.
There'll be a pale yellow precipitate.
Yellow precipitate. If you add concentrated sulfuric acid to a solid in a test tube, you warm this gently and observe brown fumes as well as oily drops on the side of the test tube. Which anion may be present in the solid? And again, I want only one answer. Oseajimai.
The nitrate ion.
Nitrate ion. Prempeh College, what cellular organelle is found in high concentrations in the midpiece of a sperm cell? Alex.
The mitochondrion.
Mitochondria. What is the function of the numerous mitochondria found in the midpiece of the sperm cell? Richard.
To provide the sperm energy to swim to meet the egg.
Prempeh, find the coefficient of x squared in the expression x plus 2, that's one bracket, then another bracket, x squared minus 3x plus 1. Douglas.
-1.
-1. What property of silicon is exploited in the chip? Is it A, conductor, that is which property? Conductor, B, insulator, or C, semiconductor? And I want one answer. Or say Ajimai.
Semiconductor.
Well, viewers, we come to the end of round 1.
My name is Miss Priscilla Inimasian, the Acting Municipal Health Director for Lampantana Akina Municipal Health Directorate. I must say I'm very privileged to pay a tribute to Professor Ewurama, Marian Addy. I'm very sad. Actually, my first encounter was when I had a chance, opportunity to represent my school, St. Mary's Secondary School in Accra, to participate in the first ever Brilliant Science and Maths quiz. For us being the first batch of SS, it was an experience. When we met, it was a very privileged time for some of us. We heard about her, so for us to meet her one-on-one was a privilege. She did encourage us a lot, because even as at now, people still see science as a very difficult subject. In fact, she is a very straightforward person, level-headed and very knowledgeable. She would tell you straightforward as it is, and always give encouragement, especially to the ladies. In fact, Ghana has really lost a great motivator, a leader, and a role model, a mother. And I would personally miss her because she was my role model. I'm prepared to join the fund that is set for the needy students who are pursuing science. This is to keep a legacy that she left for Ghana. And I believe that wherever she will be, she will have a peaceful rest. Professor Marian Addy, I will personally miss you for the good values that you instilled in me, and Ghana will also miss you a lot. May your soul rest in perfect peace. Demrified
Holy Child, a battery of EMF 10 volts and internal resistance of 2 ohms is connected to a resistance of 18 ohms. Calculate the potential difference across its terminals. Martina.
9 volts.
9 volts. A 10-kilogram shell is fired vertically upwards with initial kinetic energy of 2,000 joules. How high will it rise? And take G to be 10 meters per second. Hayford.
20 meters.
20 meters. This preamble is to both schools, and I'm going to alternate with the questions here. Now, both schools, name the artery that supplies each of the following organs with blood. I tell you the organ, you tell me the name of the artery. Holy Child School, kidney. Martina.
The renal artery.
Renal artery. Accra Academy. Heart. Kofi.
The carotid artery.
No, this one, when I'm alternating, is just one here. The heart is the coronary artery. Okay. Holy Child. Head. Martina.
The carotid artery.
Yeah. Accra Academy. The intestines. Yes, Kwabena.
Mesenteric artery.
Mesenteric artery. Okay. I am well known in biology, mathematics, and physics. In physics, a lot of quantities take my form. In biology, I am a transmitting agent. In mathematics, I represent a directed line segment. Who am I?
Sector.
Oliver. Vector. Our next riddle. I was the oldest of a family of 7 children. My father was a musician. From my infancy, even up to this moment, that is 435 years after my birth, I am still known universally by my first name. At the age of 17, I entered the university to study medicine, but ended up as professor of mathematics at the age of 25 at the University of Pisa in Italy. I was not only a mathematician, I was also a renowned astronomer and physicist. Joseph.
Galileo Galilei.
Galileo Galilei. Our last riddle. And St. Louis said they are going to get this one. All right, our last riddle. I am made up of groups of sensory cells that can be stimulated by dissolved chemicals. I transmit information about these chemicals to the brain. In fishes, I'm distributed over the entire surface of the body. While in terrestrial animals, my location is restricted to a muscular organ. There are 4 types of me, each responsible for a specific sensation. I determine the classification of materials that enter the oral cavity of terrestrial animals into sweet, sour, Joseph.
It is bad.
Taste bad.
My name is Elsie Ifa Kaufman. I am a senior lecturer in the Department of Biomedical Engineering, University of Ghana, and I'm also the current quiz mistress for the National Science and Math Quiz. Professor Addy was the first quiz mistress of the program, and actually there's a bit of a distance between us in the sense that there was another quiz mistress before I took over the position as quiz mistress for the National Science and Math Quiz. She was a very special person. Although we didn't really talk much about the National Science and Math Quiz, every time she saw me, she would ask how the program was going. We would share a joke or two about what was happening on set, and she would advise me to keep going. So that was always very welcome to talk to her about it. Professor Ewurama was very passionate about making a difference and also sharing her experiences with the upcoming generation of scientists, both men and women, but she was most passionate about sharing her experiences with the young ladies who were aspiring to be scientists just like her. Not just the students, but those of us who had chosen to be in science. She made it a point to try and encourage us whenever we went to her and needed some advice on anything regarding the career path that we had chosen. I knew her more as the president of the Women in Science and Technology, where she was our president. We relaunched that association some time ago, and we had an activity where we traveled to Cape Coast and met with some of the students at the University of Cape Coast. She was an inspiration. She was so excited about making a difference in the lives of these young and upcoming scientists. And she made it come out. She was very passionate about being the leader of the team and sharing her experiences with all of us. She was a true inspiration. Professor Ewurama, we shall remember you for your pioneering spirit, both as a scientist and also for your work on the National Science and Math Quiz. You have left a big gap for us to fill, and we shall miss you dearly. Rest in perfect peace, Professor Ewurama.
St. Roses, in science, how do we call adjustments and changes in the curvature of the eye length? Yeah. Accommodation. What's the guess I say? How do we call the point between which the eye can see distinctly? Anita.
The near point.
No. Akuya.
Focal point.
No. Last chance to Patricia.
The far point.
You know what I should do? I'll give you 1 out of 3. Please listen carefully. I said, how do we call the point between which the eye can see distinctly? It's the far point and the near point. So if you give me 1, it's really not correct. If you give me, I'm just being kind of giving you 1 out of 3. Because it lies between those 2 points. Okay. St. Roses, describe exactly what one should observe when dilute aqueous ammonia is added dropwise and then in excess to a solution of an aluminum salt. Yeah.
In dropwise, there will be a chalky precipitate, and in excess, the precipitate will not dissolve.
Okay, let me give you 2 out of 3. Gelatinous white precipitate is not the same as chalky. Okay, that's why I'm giving you 2 out of 3. But the rest is correct. Let's look at high school. What would one observe if dilute sodium hydroxide solution is added dropwise and then in excess to a solution of a lead salt? Clear?
Initially, when you add the dropwise, you have a white chalky PPT being formed. When you add the excess, it becomes colorless. That is the white PPT dissolves.
Okay. All right, let's get to the last bit of round 5. Here, the schools are not competing to be the first to come up with anything because each school has a statement and they tell me whether the statement is true or false. They have 10 seconds within which to give me an answer. If the answer is correct, they get 2 points. If the answer is not correct, then they get a point deducted from what they have already earned. This so that I don't keep on guessing. They may opt not to answer whether the statement I make is true or false, in which case I pass the statement on to the other school for 2 points if they get the answer correct or -1 if they don't. Good luck, both of you. St. Francis, your first statement. Euglena is bigger than amoeba. Matthias.
It's true.
Matthias, no, it's false. Euglena is about 0.1 millimeter. Amoeba is 0.5 millimeter. Okay. So that's false. St. Augustine's. Rhizopus, the common bread mold, reproduces asexually under adverse conditions. Thomas.
It's false.
It's false. Sound waves can undergo polarization. That's all.
It's true.
It's light wave which undergo, not sound waves. Can't polarize sound waves. So that's false. St. Augustine's. All electromagnetic waves do not need a medium to travel through.
It's true.
Yes, it's true. The number of millimeters of rainfall in Accra during various months of the year is discrete data. Matthias.
It's true.
Student enrollment in the University of Ghana over a number of years is continuous data. Thomas.
It's false.
It's false. The Earth's atmosphere is heated primarily by radiation from the warm Earth rather than directly by solar radiation. Matthias.
It's true.
Yeah, it's true. The weight of an object falling through air is always greater than the upthrust. Thomas.
It's true.
At the terminal velocity, the weight is equal to the upthrust.
Marian hosted the National Science and Maths Quiz for 7 years. And 7 years, she brought life to the program. We shall miss her friendliness, miss her liveliness. We shall miss the style she brought to the program, her sense of fashion, which debunked the notion that academics were dull people who had no sense of taste, especially in fashion. Those who recall her as our quiz mistress would remember her headgears, the Mfantsipim, and all that she brought to it. Marian, prime time, we bid you farewell. We say rest in peace. You have done your part. Thank you for what you did for us. Thank you for what you did for this program. We shall always cherish your memory. And Marian, if you meet Professor Awotri, wherever you're going, tell him we miss him also. Now we thank him for what he also did for this program. We say, Demrifa Due, Deye Ewurama, Nyamifa Wonsie, Addy'S about Demrifa Due.